Yo, yo, yo. What's going on, guys? What is happening? Are we all good? What's happening, guys? Give me a hey, ya, type 1. Do what you need to do. I just want to know if everybody's in the room with me right now. Perfect, perfect, perfect. You're in the room with me. Wicked. All right, then let's have a conversation, guys. Let's flip over to the chart and find out exactly what is going on with Bitcoin. Okay. Funnily enough, she's doing exactly what we anticipate her to do. Why? Because market makers are loading up. They are reevaluating the situation. They've brought it back down to the vector points that we were talking about last night. Very interesting zones for them to take out. Okay. Now the patrons this early morning, you had the heads up with this, guys. Okay. We understood something. They were breaking things down. The last video that we spoke about, the green vector candle right here. Very important candle. It was the trick. Now this move has been premeditated. The Asian session has actually done this move, prepared it by actually loading up and starting up the party in the sense where they are getting their longs filled at lower prices. Okay, so firstly, welcome everyone on board, whoever is in here. Thank you very much for passing through. How is everyone doing this morning? Yeah, we have to pay attention to what's going on right now because Bitcoin is coming down to the lows. Couldn't skip on a big move like this. We're going to work out and see if this move is going to continue down lower. I'm anticipating that if Bitcoin does come down, it may actually come and hit yesterday's low. If it hits yesterday's low and bounces away from that point, fine, happy days. Then if it doesn't and continues lower, then it's likely we're going to see the range daily low. The range daily low tends to be a point in the chart where price does gravitate towards it. Okay, but it does need to break down a little bit further. It has come back and recovered the vector candle. It's done that exactly. It did it last night on the green vector right here in the Asian session. Stop on low, rise, drop. They've come back down to this point right here. So the 31 point the 31,000 point, it's down here. So it does have a lot of traction to get to. But if we look at the bigger picture as well, guys, look at what's going on. We are forming the second leg of what we understand to be a W formation. All right. Let me change the color of this so it's easy to see. There you go. Forming the second leg of a W. By principle, once the new hour candle starts, if the new hour candle starts, we should see the recovery of the red candle. But that's only if they are done with this move, because what happens at the lows? Notable volume comes in at the lows and price reverses. Are we seeing the same behavior here? Except the good thing is the first leg of the W formation hasn't been taken out. Now this is consistent with market maker behavior. When we see price dropping down, everyone starts losing their mind. Okay? Everyone starts losing their mind. Will we see a recovery from this vector candle? If not, continuation to the range daily low. And if it comes back down to that point, 30,000 will be tested. 31,000 being tested. Then we will have some more projectionary points to come to. Where is it? There's a pool of liquidity down here, guys. That will sit at the 28, 29 mark. It is a valid point in the chart. We can't hide from it. As much as we don't want to talk about Bitcoin going that far, we want to see a retrace back up. Well, market makers are going to get it down to the point that they believe that they can get Bitcoin at the lowest possible point before they start making a move back up. Let's have a look at Ethereum. At the same token, Ethereum has come back down towards the projection point right there. She's hit that zone. Not yet. Slightly. Well, actually, she has taken that point, but she hasn't completely recovered it. But we've got a new 1 hour candle starting on MT4 in 16 seconds. I know it says 5 minutes beforehand. It's 5 minutes behind, but that's the broker's server on this platform. Let's see what actually happens with both Bitcoin and Ethereum from this red vector. The principle is this candle here is the market makers buying. Okay. So is he going to be buying some more by sending price lower, or is he going to start making the run up for money to make price come back up and recover this vector candle? We are going into lunchtime right now, guys. All right, we're going into lunch. So that means that the market might be a little bit volatile here because trading itself is going to turn a little bit light. Okay, so we might see it happen in both directions. Price may come back up, recover the vector, or it may just simply continue to drop down to recover this previous vector point in the chart itself. Flipping over to Bitcoin, 1 hour candle starting right now. Here we go. We're waiting to see if this candle does recover. It may recover at least a third of the candle and then continue back down if their intention is finished, or they'll just completely just drop price and then make the move later on. But it looks like they do want to come down. Until they break the wick, I'm not interested in it actually going any lower. Until they break the wick. That's the key thing. Do I think we're in a bear market? I don't really like to use the words bear and bullish. Okay? Bearish and bullish are emotional for retail traders. Okay? It's how people categorize the direction. All right? But we understand something that's different. Remember, when price is dropping, there are two phases. Let me start again. There are two phases that I look for. All right? I look for a markup phase and a markdown phase. Okay? The markup phase is when the market makers are coming away from building their longs and they want to realize a return on their investments. That's a markup phase. Okay? They're marking up their profits. Conventional traders will say, oh, we're in a bullish trend. Okay? But the problem is, when you see bullish, you are feeding into the idea that the market maker then is able to now start building shorts at higher prices. Okay? And if he's able to build shorts at higher prices purely by the notion you guys believe we're in a bullish market, okay, you will stay bullish because you will then end up buying the dip, and it's at buying the dip the market maker then decides to offload his shorts and go into the markdown phase. Okay? No, I'm at the times that I'm... Funny you say that. I've noticed that Bitcoin hasn't really been going anywhere. So I've been going back and trading into Forex. So I've managed to exploit dollar yen. So I've traded dollar yen when Bitcoin ain't doing anything. And now that Bitcoin is starting to make its move, we may be able to start taking some trades on Bitcoin. Now, either direction. I have no bias to the direction. I don't care if Bitcoin rises or drops. I'm going to ride the move based on what the market maker is trying to reveal to me. Okay? Right now, looking at the pattern itself, we've got a big W formation forming. We will only know if this pattern is going to hold if price stays within this zone. Will they get price back up to recover the vector candle and then bring in the New York session, which will help us realize a reversal? Or are they going to keep moving price down because the market maker's intention for this move was set in Asia? Okay? And how do we know it was set in Asia? Look, price came in. The market makers induced the traders to go long because they had seen that the 50 EMA had realized support. Okay? Now, there are traders out there that saw the 50 EMA being flat and they thought, right, okay, Bitcoin's trading away from the 50 EMA, let's go long, which is what encouraged this volume candle to come in here. Funnily enough, we always wait for confirmation. Look what happened. The next candle brought price straight back down. Why? Because the moon boy, the retail trader, okay, he was convinced that Bitcoin was now going to continue higher. That's the best time for the market maker to grab the liquidity to build his shorts at the highest possible point by getting ready to take out the moon boy stops on the way down. That's how he does it. It's always going to be flip side. Toilet paper boys. Tuned Sai, I'm going to be looking at seeing if it does work on stocks, but I don't see any reason as to why it wouldn't. You see the difference between stocks and crypto and Forex? Stocks is very heavily regulated, okay? And crypto isn't regulated. Forex is somewhat regulated, okay? But the behavior of price in the actual markets itself, on the currencies themselves, you know, they have a boundary that they have to stick within, okay? That's about as much regulation you're going to get. And also the Anti-Money Laundering Act of 74. That's the only regulation that's really hitting Forex. In Forex, they have to stick to a certain distance that they can allow price to get to. For example, in dollar yen, there you go. There's a retrace back up. With dollar yen itself, this move that happened a couple of days ago, there you go. This move that happened to the downside, all right. On average, dollar yen will travel 56 pips in one direction or the other. So it can rise up 56 pips or go down 56 pips, okay? That's its average daily range. Now, the ADR is sort of what the IMF said to effectively the market makers. Don't allow price to go beyond certain extremes because it could trigger massive uncertainty in the marketplace and people could go crazy and the market will collapse. So when we see these big moves to the downside, this move from the open all the way down to the close, which was right here, that was an 84 pip move, okay? So that is way above the ADR, what it normally travels, okay? So it effectively traveled nearly 2.2 times the ADR, okay? Nearly two times the ADR. So they had to bring it back into the fray by the next session, which is why you see price always reverting back to the 50. Because they can't allow price to keep going down and dropping because it would destabilize the market, and then no one would effectively start entering into any positions because it's just going in one direction. That's how you will break the market, okay? So the market makers will never allow that to happen, which is why they always bring price back into the fray, okay? No worries, Tunesai. Bitcoin, here we go. See, now that this red candle has appeared, they are holding, okay? It's these sort of clues that I wait for. If they're going to hold this point in the chart, okay, and not make any attempt at the lows. Granted, we're looking at 3 pins to the low right here, okay? So there's notable interest at this point. The absolute maximum point that I expect them to come back down to is somewhere around the yesterday's low, which is down here, which is the 31,579. But right now, this candle is stabilizing. It's not doing anything, okay? We need to wait and see what happens, all right? So I'm not going to be on this live too long, but I just wanted to grab people's attention to help them understand what's actually happening. People are probably going around on YouTube saying now, oh, Bitcoin's crashing, Bitcoin's doing this, Bitcoin's doing that. The initiation of fear is now being installed. It's this initiation of fear that the market maker uses to exploit traders to do what? Gets them to sell. And what did we understand in a couple of streams ago? In order for someone to sell, someone has to buy. Our goal is to find out at what point does the market maker want to switch up his buying and start moving in a markup phase to get Bitcoin to return back up to the upside. How far they go back to the upside is a completely different story. All right. Our goal is to effectively try and understand at what point will they decide to change the mindset of the retail trader who believes it should be going lower, and then market maker will move price back up and take out the stops of the retail trader, which will initiate him to start going long, and the market maker at that point will then turn price and then come back down again. That is the cycle. That's how the market makers move. They move on people's intention. Yeah, the volatility band. Well, look. The volatility band on the RSI is not really showing me strength because it hasn't actually come down to the volatility band. It's just broken away from the market signal and the market base. This is what we need to understand. It hasn't done that. I'm anticipating that this next candle here is going to be the candle that reverses back up, and the volatility band will print a shark fin, inverted shark fin right there. That is what I'm anticipating. Because if it comes back up to the market base and then continues away from it, we may see the volatility band being hit. But right now, this move is pretty sharp. Okay, so we're expecting a recovery back at this point. So in the first 15 minutes, they're stabilizing. Look at the first 15-minute candle. What's it doing? 3 pins to the low. Are they going to try and find traction? Have they actually taken out people's liquidations? Setting up the longs? Are they going to get ready to make a run up towards the 5 and the 13 EMA and look to make a recovery of the vector candle? That's pretty much what we're anticipating price to do right now. Yeah, Mateus, it's probably different settings on the volatility band. Most likely it's different settings. Yeah, I mean, I say bruv quite a lot. Bruv is like my full stop at end at every every sentence. Okay, let's see what happens with this. See, this is at the point where people start to panic. This is where you're seeing the wicks on the chart. People are responding. People are going short. Look, people are going short, man. People are getting squashed out right now, and they're just going to wait and see how much notable interest are they going to accumulate from people to go short. So right now, orders are coming in. When they push price down lower, it's because people are favoring to go short. So they want to take that liquidity because the market maker knows he can get longs filled at lower prices. He knows where he's going to send price up afterwards, but he's going to come in and get every single penny he can. That's the goal of the market maker. Let me change this. Let me make it an easier color on the eye. There we go. Excuse me. Can you please share your inputs on the TDI? Hey Daniel, yeah, there is a video on the channel about the TDI itself. So go into the actual channel and there is a playlist called Understanding the Hybrid. Everything that you know is everything that you need to know about the TDI or any W's and M's or anything based on this strategy is in that channel right there. Okay. So this is part of the game of trading, guys, right? We need to pay attention to key points in the chart. I'm always going to be focused on the development of candlesticks. That's the whole point, because this move develops. They don't just drop price out of nowhere. This move happens because there's a development of it. Look at the Asian session. Asia came in, initiated the move, stop hunt rise, triggered the longs, reverse price back down. Okay, and they move price, come away from the zone, they triggered the shorts. So the Asian session set the intention that they do want to bring price down lower. The UK session comes in, does exactly the same at this point in the Brinks box, initiates a rise up, comes back down, and then they make one last attempt towards the 50 EMA because they know there are guys that trade off the 50 EMA and there are orders at the 50 EMA. So they facilitate those orders, stop hunt rise, collapse. They bring price right back down, get their orders filled at lower prices. Now, when you're seeing the pins to the low, okay, this is at the point where they may start to try and reverse price back up. All right. In terms of fractional disparity, looking at dollar yen and looking at Bitcoin at the same time, what are we seeing? We're seeing dollar yen rising. Now, for me, the fact that they're moving out of this zone right now is telling me that unless they break the 50 EMA, I'm not going to look at any entries from this point. Okay. This is what the market makers are trying to do. They're trying to get in low. Okay, and now they're getting ready to shift out of the zone. Okay, a valid entry for me would be determined once the 50 EMA on the 1 hour time frame has been broken, because we are now coming back into the psychological low for dollar yen, a very important point. So I need to wait for that to determine if there's going to be a move higher. Okay, but I'm projecting that we may see this area again by dollar yen because they're building their longs at lower prices and they stabilize and then they come out of the zone right here. Okay, cool. So in light of fractional disparity itself, remember Bitcoin was listed on the CME as an opportunity for hedge funds to hedge any exposure. So when Bitcoin drops against the dollar, okay, it means that people are going to start putting money into risk on assets such as dollar yen. Looking at gold on the same token, what's gold doing? Dropping. So if gold is dropping, that means they're taking money out of gold because they want to put it in risk on assets, and dollar should be rising by that token. Okay? Very important to understand the fractional disparity element. Really important. Okay then, cool. So let's flip over to Bitcoin right now and see what she's doing. Well done, Samir. That is awesome. That is really awesome. Okay then. Right. Okay, then. So, looking now, Bitcoin is starting to drop. She is starting to drop now. Very interesting. Okay, then. Now, yeah, she's going to break lower. The yesterday's low is going to be hitting. Yesterday's low will be a point in the chart that they may actually take out, guys. So we've got to proceed with caution. Got to proceed with caution with this. Okay, then. Looking across the board, have we got any other news announcements that may be coming in? Let's have a look. Here we go. She's now pretty much now coming down to the recovery of the vector candle. What day are we on today? Yeah, the Fed Powell is speaking later on. Okay, yeah, Fed Powell, he's speaking, but he was speaking yesterday and he didn't really say anything interesting. So they're not really going to be paying attention to what he has to say. But looking at what's going on with Bitcoin right now, they're going to make one last attempt to the lows. See, what's happening now, people are coming into the chart. People are now going short, and the market maker is there being that person that fulfills that obligation. He's giving them the orders. Market maker can see now he's getting the opportunity to build longs at lower prices. Okay, we've broken the 32 mark, and what have we said about whole numbers? When the whole number gets broken, it always gets tapped on notable volume. Again, look what's happened. Bang, she's come down straight and broken through it. Okay, so then now they're trying to work orders below this zone. How far they bring price down below the 32k for them to get back above it with notable interest, this is what we're waiting to see. This is the important thing. Ethereum is moving strong, man. Ethereum is moving strong to the downside. She will have up until 1895. She could even take the average daily range low, even come down to the range daily low, which was yesterday's low. Okay, because we've got notable interest at this point. But the great thing is this. We are seeing pattern development. You can see a clean pattern right now, can't you? Look at this. W formation there. Price rises up. I'll go away. What is that? And then price is moving. That's principally what we are expecting, which will now take us towards the New York reversal, which New York's pre-market will start in 40 minutes. Man, where are my chargers? Ah, here we go. That should resolve that matter right there. I came to the gunfight without any ammunition. Look at that. There we go. We're back in the game, guys. Wicked. Okay, then, cool. So, Bitcoin. There you go. Pin in the lows. Pin in the lows. So you have to ask yourself, when they spike in price lower, why is it stopping now? Why are they starting to stabilize? Yeah, this is the key aspect to the game of trading. Right, because they use these big vector candles to induce people to do something. Yeah, people are doing something now. They're selling. People are scared. People are hitting up YouTube. People are checking all the articles, you know, Twitter, Instagram, you name it. They're trying to find people who are talking about cryptocurrency right now and seeing what their point is. And I can guarantee to you 90% of them are all saying Bitcoin crashing, Bitcoin dropping. The novelty of fear is being installed across the board. Okay, quite majestically. But when you understand that the only way that the market maker can get price down lower is if he induces traders to do the opposite of what he's trying to do. At the same token, the retail trader can only sell if someone is there buying. Don't you ask yourself, why does the vector candle always end up getting recovered? Look what happened yesterday. Massive sell-off in Asia, stabilized, pinned to the low. 1, 2, 3 pins there. And then they reverse back up. complete recovery of the red vector candle. It's not because they came back up because there was news. And even if there was news, it was an excuse for them to move price back up to recover the previous longs that they built in the previous session. So the Asian session set up the initiation that they favored higher prices by sending it down lower. So they set the move up. UK steps in, initiates a stop hunt low, rise, traps the trader, gets them committed to go down lower. To get this open of this candle here, spikes down, commits the retail trader to go short. Unfortunate souls end up going short right here, and their liquidations got hit cleanly because price came straight back up. The game is rigged against you. This is their business model. However, if we understand how they operate, we may be in a good position to exploit their behavior at the same time. That's the novelty of it. So we're just waiting to see. Look, pin in the lows, spiking lower, coming back up. When you see these pins to the low, people call this rejection. It's not a rejection. It's the market makers filling orders and taking out their liquidation and stops at the same time. All right, this is how they draw liquidity. This is how they get it, because it's through the absorption of liquidations and stops. It's where the market maker is able to fill his longs. All right, that's the key thing to it. If you can't beat them, join them. I'm going to be doing that video, Luke. That's another video I'm going to be doing. I will be doing a video that talks about how to understand the different sessions and their importance, because the sessions themselves are critical. You have to understand what's going on in one session to effectively work out what's going to happen in the next. Yeah, Matthias, listen. It's different for a holder. Okay? A holder of Bitcoin shouldn't really be paying attention to the chart. Well, when I say paying attention, but he should really be checking in at least once a month. And if he looks in and he can see that it's dropping, it is an opportunity for him to get in cheaper again. Because a holder has a longer term perspective. He holds. He's not going to be letting go. Okay? Because he has a belief behind what he's doing. He believes that Bitcoin is going to be a favorable currency across the board. He thinks that the technology is going to be great over in the long run. He has a belief in there, okay? But the problem that most holders have is they come to the chart as a holder, and by 5 minutes later, they end up being a trader. Because they're getting sucked into the hype of price dropping. Oh, I'm losing money. But the true holder will say, hey, it's getting cheaper now. You know? The key thing for the holder is how cheap can it go before the holder decides that he's going to, hang up the gloves and say, yo, I ain't going to stay in this any longer. All right? So that's the key thing. Yeah, well, I'd beg to differ. Technically trading shouldn't be fun. Trading should be boring. All right, trading has to be boring because then there's no emotional attachment. Then there's no excitement. And when there's no excitement and emotional attachment, you're making money. Yeah, Samir, yeah, trading can be fun if you have no bias to the direction. Okay, but what happens when it stops being fun? What point does it become not fun anymore? It becomes not fun when you're losing money. That's how people see it. But what you need to understand is when trading becomes boring, it means you're exercising a certain strategy over and over again. You're past the novelty of caring about what money you make. All you're interested in is if the trade is going to go in your favor. You have to develop an obsession with accuracy. You need to try and see, is my entry point going to give me a certain drawdown? How much drawdown am I going to experience based off this move? That is the true reward in trading. Finding an entry where you have minimal drawdown. That's the key thing. All right? If you can replace the idea of making money in trading with the idea of getting so obsessed with the idea of how to get your entry down accurately, not perfectly, because there's no such thing as a perfect entry. I mean, to some individuals, the perfect entry may be perfect for them, okay? But try and keep it as accurate as possible. The way you establish accuracy is simple. You do it by determining how much of a deviation away from your entry have you exposed your account to. Yeah, that's the key thing. All right then. So I thought I'd give you a bit of a heads up right now. Okay. Once New York comes in, I'm going to be coming to an end on the stream itself. Give you a bit of a heads up with what to anticipate with price. Okay. Once New York comes into play, which is the brinks, we should see price initiate maybe one last hit to the lows. Okay. And bounce away from that point. As long as price stays within this point right here. Okay. Then things are all well, because what we normally see is whenever price comes towards a projection point, it always tends to reverse away from it because they fulfilled the obligation. All right. So I hope you guys have enjoyed this. I just wanted to let you guys know on what's going on. All right. Just be mindful. Don't fall into the hype. Okay. And I'll be seeing you in tonight's stream. Okay. Mad love and respect to all of you. Take care of yourselves. All right. And I'll be speaking to you later. Peace.